Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back at it in the hot Florida sun because guess what? We have some changes from Audi when it comes to their e-tron, and it's this vehicle right here. What the heck is it? It's a refresh, updated, changed up, renamed 2024 Audi e-tron Q8 Sportback. But before we get into this Q8 e-tron and tell you what is different for 2024, let's talk about what's going on here. Audi, they were one of the first German brands to bring electrification to their lineup. Now, what's interesting is that they found themselves in a predicament where they've been expanding. It was all about just calling them e-trons. You had the e-tron SUV, you had the e-tron sedan, and that was about it. Well, now that they're widening the gap of e-tron vehicles, they are also doing some renaming. So for 2024, this is called a Q8 e-tron Sportback, but it also has some changes for 2024 model year. One thing is for certain, when it comes to driving engagement, Audi is one of those brands that really brings it tenfold, but can they bring the same magic to their whole e-tron lineup? Let's go ahead, let's dive into this 2024 Q8 e-tron and find out, is it the best new luxury sports style SUV you should be buying? Let's go ahead, let's dive in and find out. Right off the bat, the Sportback design really checks off a bunch of boxes for me. It's a very unique look, very sleek, and you actually get better mileage, overall range out of the Sportback compared to the standard Q8 SUV shape of the e-tron. Now, at the front of the business, this is where you're gonna see the biggest, largest amount of changes. We have new lighting, so new LED headlights, daytime running lamps, and turn signals, looking slick and sleek, just like always from Audi. Working our way down, ginormous corner air curtains. I like the way they shape that gloss black area. It's got a ribbed area for your pleasure of air going through to help with that range. And then we come across the new grille, really showing that clear identity to the rest of the Audi lineup. We have our 4 rings, that's the Auto Union badge, those 4 German brands that unify together. Look at the LED daytime running lamp coming across the whole front of the vehicle. We got a forward-facing camera, and then we have functionality up top, the e-tron name stamped in, and then down below we have even more functionality, because don't forget, these are liquid-cooled lithium-ion battery packs, so we still need air to help with the cooling of the battery pack. But let me know how you feel about the front end of this Q8 e-tron. I'm actually digging it. I think they did it right on this particular vehicle. Now, when we get up onto that hood, clean design, simple. You have a nice little bulge in the center. The rest of the body lines curve right towards those A-pillars. As we curve around the bend, we have all new wheels. So not only are you getting new front fascia lighting, you're getting these new style wheels. Absolutely digging them. Machined aluminum, dark gray centers. And the way that it's shaped, it's that same thing, ribbed for your pleasure of air that's going to help be generated down the side of the vehicle. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of this wheel? 21-inch wheel. So quite large. You got regen braking, nice large rotors, adaptive suspension, all 4 corners. And of course, this has quattro all-wheel drive. Electric motor up front, electric motor out back. The tires are 265 on the width, 45 series on the sidewall. Now, as we come down the side, you do have your e-tron badge, real clean. Color mesh on the mirror caps, that LED lighting nicely put. You do have not a ginormous panoramic sunroof, but you do have a panoramic sunroof. Look at this. If you ever forget the name of your vehicle, come on in. I want to show you something. Audi Q8 Sportback e-tron Quattro. That's technically the name of this vehicle. So it used to be just called e-tron Sportback. Now it's called Q8 e-tron Sportback Quattro. Down below, just a little bit of gloss black, very aggressive styling to that lower sill, because remember, it's all about channeling the air. See, watch, I'm gonna channel the air. Channeling the air down the side of the vehicle. You got that Sportback design, which chops off some of the rear to help sleek out the back. And then as we come around the back side, Like the flared fender, love the LED lighting. New for 2024, they added a nice hatch spoiler, color match, blends in. And look at the way they're doing the badging. That to me is really clean, pops off nicely. We got our Q8 badge. You know that it's an Audi. Working our way down to Chinatown. e-tron stamped in the back and a nice looking diffuser for that aerodynamic efficiency. And even the lighting goes across just like it does up front. But why don't we pop the hood and see if we could see any of the electric stuff going on underneath it in this e-tron. All right guys, we got the hood pop. Now what's great about the e-tron, or I should say, hold on a second, the Q8 Sportback e-tron is that it does have storage underneath, but let me show you something else before I just open it up. There's our electric motor. There's also, you can see the wires going to the shock absorbers because those are adaptive shock absorbers, all four corners. But we open this up, here's where you have your charging utilities that you could store underneath, or you could put about 5 boxes of Twinkies in there if you want to leave that in the trunk. But what are we talking about when we look at the power of this thing? It's got 2 electric motors for this S-Line e-tron Q8 Sportback. 2 electric motors producing 355 horsepower, 414 pound-feet of torque. When you have it in sport mode, you get 402 horsepower, 490 pound-feet of torque. It uses a 106 kilowatt battery pack, lithium ion, 0 to 60 in about 5 seconds. Top speed is 124 miles per hour. The vehicle weighs 5,962 pounds, can tow 4,000 pounds, and here's where we get down to the real nitty gritty. It's got a 296 mile range. Let me know how you feel about that in the comment section. 80% of battery charge, from 10% to 80% could be done in 30 minutes on a fast charger. And then what are the numbers? 84 mpgs in the city and 90 mpges on the highway. So like I said, nice to see some storage underneath the hood. Nice to be able to actually see an electric motor, but why don't we go ahead, let's turn this thing on and see it move. All right guys, we are inside this 2024 Audi Q8 Sportback e-tron Quattro. I know you're saying to yourself, well Joe, I've always been an Audi fan, and I really feel like if I'm gonna go EV, it's gonna be with that iconic German brand. But how much is it? Very good question. MSRP for the way that this one is optioned is right at $92,000. Let's see what you get for your hard-earned money. To the door panels, clean German style. I do like the aluminum finish. You have ambient LED lighting within that aluminum finish. No gloss black, contrast stitching, 2 memory seat settings, the Bang & Olufsen sound system, and a door pocket that is supersized to take on 2 Big Macs and a large strawberry milkshake. Now going from the door panel to the dash, I like the way they just kept it simple and said e-tron. You got the stitching up top. This dark wood finish without the veneer is very tasteful. And you know what? After a hard day at work, you can rub your wood. So that's the good news. Slide on in, you have a 10.1-inch infotainment system. Same infotainment system, very intuitive, that we have seen on Audi vehicles. I could go into charging. You could see how much charge we have, the daily use, all that kind of good stuff. Audi Drive Select, you know what we're doing, right? Dynamic mode, give me the racetrack. It actually lowers the vehicle. The one thing that's bothering me is the amount of gloss black on both sides. So that's a double zonk, but let me throw it into reverse. Super clear resolution, nice trajectory, 360-degree cam. We could even do a 3D cam. Look at this, we're in the jungle here. Really nice to have that ease of use, whatever you're trying to do, no matter what. Whether you're using cameras, whether you're going into your different modes, or picking up, of course, the navigation. And I love how that's set up. Working our way down, we have an 8-inch touchscreen for all your AC controls, no physical buttons. But what's interesting, the way that they have it on a separate screen, it's actually easier to use. So I applaud them for that. You do get 3 stages of ventilated seats, heated seats. You could even change your drive select modes here if you wanted to, or you could just do it right on the screen. Nice little bit of a palm rest. This is your transmission controller for your direct drive transmission. Look at the ambient lighting. I'm able to show it here in the shade. We got it made in the shade. Nice, almost like a oh crap handle for your passenger. Here is your Audi key fob, just like before. Nothing wrong with that. There's a 12 volt in there. Slide this open, you got 2 cup holders. I'm gonna slide it closed because I don't wanna look at that anymore. Open this up, there's your USB-Cs. And you have your polishing cloth so you can get the fingerprints off of everything. And this is, if you look, I'm gonna prove it to you. I know a lot of people think I'm always joking around. I'm Jokey the Jokester, but check this out. It actually has the Auto Union badge on the polishing cloth. So this is official. And there's a certain way you gotta fold it. That's what I was told. There we go. But you could also put, I would say, 2 Hostess cupcakes in there. Just make sure you don't go for 3 because you're gonna bust cream all over this beautiful interior. Seats, the leather, the perforations, the stitching, the bolstering, electric assist for the passenger. Of course, I have electric assist as the driver, and we have that decent sized panoramic sunroof. But why don't you get your butt over here at the business end? I wanna show you behind the wheel of this Q8 Sportback e-tron. All right guys, come on into the business end. You do get 2 memory seat settings for the driver, nice aluminum sill plate. I don't know if you could see the white LED lighting with the S and everything, because this is an S line. You do have your seat controls, easy to get to. Seats are very comfortable, very supportive, and even at 6 feet tall, I got plenty of headroom. Same thing with the steering wheel. Audi does such a great job with that. You got the Auto Union badge, real thin on the spokes. You do have paddles for the regen braking, and you do have a power tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And then look at the virtual cockpit. They were the first to bring this technology, super clear with the navigation in the center. If you want it larger, look at that. Look how easy it is to do those different things that you need to do based off of the screen. And then you can scroll through a cornucopia of information. Very, very smart. And there's a head-up display, nicely laid out. But let's get into the back seat and see if your passengers are going to be able to keep their head, because it might be tight back there. Let's go see. All right guys, back seat time. Now on the passenger doors, you do get the same blue ambient lighting, nice touch. We have AC vents in the frame rail. I always like to see that. The one thing I don't like to see, that I'm gonna have to zonk, are these cargo nets. Just doesn't look good in my eyes. And plus, if you have a dagger, a sword, a throwing star, anything sharp, it's gonna rip right through that. The great news is though, you have a hell of a command center. AC vents in the center as well. We got our dual climate control, easy to operate. You do have heated seats, but no ventilated seats. And to me, that's a bummer. Down below though, you got 2 USB-Cs and a 12 volt. And as you can see, flat bottom floor. Steven's gonna show that off. And even with the chop top of the Sportback, you still have plenty of headroom. It's like they did some type of magic here to make that happen. I don't have to duck, I don't have to do anything. And you do have the manual security shades on the side for your passengers. Pull this down. It's sort of like they took a rock and wrapped it in leather. It's not soft at all, but you got your 2 cup holders, and you do have a place where you can keep your Buffalo nickel collection. I know you and your grandpappy, or you used to call him Poppy, used to collect Buffalo nickels. You could keep those in there and they won't get all scratched up. Remember, if they get all scratched, they lose their value. I remember your grandfather told you that. I don't know if you remember. I remember. Seats, the stitching, the design, just like up front. But why don't we get into that cargo area and see how much room we have in the Q8. All right guys, cargo area time, real simple. Hit the button under the Auto Union badge. Bumper is very high, just something to be aware of. But what's nice is you have a good size lip that's gonna hold everything in once you get it in. Now, how much space do we have? You're gonna be surprised, even though we're losing some of the height because we have the Sportback, you're looking at right around 29 cubic feet of space with the seats up. Fold the seats down, it's 57 cubic feet of space. I love the way we have our Nordschleife cargo nets for a box of Twinkies on each side, driver and passenger. And then lo and behold, check it out, we actually have a spare and a nice little storage area for, I would say, 26 bratwursts, maybe some nice German spicy mustard you could put on them, and some buns for your next picnic. But you know what? I'm not ready for a picnic. I'm ready to go on throttle. Let's get inside this Audi Q8 Sportback e-tron S-Line, Quattro, and go on throttle and see how it goes. All right, guys, we are in this 2024 Audi Q8 Sportback e-tron. I'm gonna come to a complete stop real quick and we're gonna go on throttle. On throttle, here we go. So it definitely puts you back in your seat. Is it gonna light your world ablaze? No, not really, but it does give you that instant torque. And what I like is that it drives like an Audi. And I mean that in a very, very good way. Like everything is arranged exactly as you remember it from your internal combustion engine Audi. And it really allows you to feel comfortable behind the wheel. You got your paddles to up the levels of regen braking. And what's nice is that it's not like a crazy amount. One thing to be aware of is there is no one pedal operation. Audi wants you to still be part of the driving engagement, and I could applaud that. Getting to the infotainment system, well within reach. Little too much gloss black, but we already talked about that. Love the virtual cockpit. One of my favorite things of any Audi contemporary vehicle is that virtual cockpit. Visibility out the front is nice, and even though this Q8 is not a lightweight by any means, it does aid in the handling characteristics of the vehicle because of the battery pack. Let's go ahead and go on throttle again. On throttle, you do have a head-up display, gives you some very important information, but you can see how you get up to speed very, very quickly, very smooth, and it's super quiet in here. That's the biggest challenge for the designers and the engineers, is that you don't have an internal combustion engine to cancel out vibration and noise from entering the cabin and working its way through the chassis and into your seat. They were able to take care of all that, and allows you to feel nice, cool, laid back, and comfortable. Seats, just like the rest of the interior, very Audi specific, and that is a very good thing. They have the right amount of support without feeling like you're sitting on a plank of wood. And, you know, this isn't an RS or anything like that, so the bolstering is just fine. The thing that blows my mind, and I think will blow your passengers' minds, is that they get to keep their wits and their coolness because that back seat area has plenty of room, and the fact that it's got 4 separate AC vents is a very, very nice touch. But here we are driving on the highway, and it's just a pleasurable experience. Super smooth. You got your lane keep assist, blind spot monitoring, emergency brake assist, adaptive cruise control. I mean, this has all the safety features that we come to know now in the 21st century. And the steering has a good feel. I'm in dynamic mode. Steering overall feels good. It could be a little bit more feel and feedback for me, a little heavier, but I think for most people, you're gonna enjoy the different modes that they have when you are driving. And I'm telling you, the way this thing just zooms like Buzz Lightyear right out of the way of people is really, really nice. And then the fact that you have the regen braking while you're coming to a stop is just gonna help with that larger battery pack, which, remember, the battery pack is larger for 2024. Modulating the throttle is very, very easy. And you can see we have our different systems of sensory technology. Sometimes it works, sometimes they overreact just a little bit. But all the great things that you already love about Audi are wrapped into this Q8 Sportback e-tron, especially when it comes to driving dynamics. All right, guys, let's go on throttle. On throttle, here we go. What I like about the Q8 e-tron is that it doesn't lose steam like the Mach-E GT does. That's one thing that really bothers me about the Mach-E GT, is that when you go on throttle, as you go faster, it starts to lose steam. But you can see the driving dynamics, the Quattro all-wheel drive from the twin motors. I mean, look at this. Nice! Who says you can't have fun with an EV? You can. You just gotta throw it into a corner kind of hard. But other than that, like I said, very smooth, very comfortable, very composed, and very Audi. And I mean that with the utmost respect. But hopefully this has been a great overall review of what the Q8 e-tron Sportback Quattro S-Line is bringing to the table. As we have our typical Florida drivers cutting in front of me, we're going to wrap this one up, and I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been an electrifying day. Better than sticking your finger in an electric socket. Definitely want to thank everybody over at Audi for getting us access to this press fleet vehicle. Let me know what you think. Has Audi done the right job, the right changes for 2024 model year on this Q8 Sportback e-tron Quattro S-Line? Or are you gonna go with one of the other brands? Let me know down in the comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. I'll come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Ladies Rides family. Of course, we need to thank Stephen Flood. He's sweating it out here. He's like sweating it out to the oldies. Show him some love in the comment section. Thank you, Stephen, for all that you're doing. Just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.